Have you ever felt disrespected by someone, only to question whether it's worth standing up for yourself? As we grow older, we accumulate wisdom and experience, but unfortunately, not everyone recognizes or respects that. If you've ever found yourself facing disrespect from a friend, family member, or even a stranger, then this video is for you. In the next few minutes, we're diving into 7 powerful ways to handle those situations with grace and confidence, without losing your peace or compromising your dignity. You'll discover how silence can speak louder than words, how to assert your boundaries without confrontation, and why you don't owe anyone an explanation for your choices. These strategies not only help you reclaim control in moments of disrespect, but they empower you to walk through life with a sense of self-respect and inner strength. Stick with us until the end and you'll learn how to carry yourself with quiet confidence, create meaningful boundaries, and demand the respect you deserve, no matter your age. Don't let anyone undermine your worth. Let's explore how to handle disrespect the wise way. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. 1. Embrace the silent stare. There is an almost mystical strength in silence. A quiet, unyielding force that can convey more than the loudest shout or the sharpest retort. The silent stare is not just a moment of inaction. It is a bold declaration, a profound embodiment of self-respect that communicates, without a single syllable, "I see you, but I refuse to let your words define my worth." In a world that often urges us to react, defend, to assert, this form of silent defiance is a rare and deeply powerful act. When faced with disrespect, be it in the form of an interruption, a dismissive comment, or outright belittlement, our instinct may be to lash out, to justify, to fight for the validation we know we deserve. But there is a different path, a quieter one, that holds immeasurable strength. To simply look unblinking and let the weight of silence hang in the air. This is not passive resistance. It is a profound statement. The silent stare doesn't just meet their behavior, it reflects it at them, exposing their words for what they truly are, a reflection of their insecurities, not yours. Imagine the impact of a calm, unwavering gaze, one that refuses to falter or yield to provocation. You're not just staring. You're standing firm in a space of unshakable self-assurance. You're not engaging in their chaos. You're forcing them to confront it. This isn't about intimidation. It's about presence. And for many who rely on the reactions of others to validate their negative behavior, it's disarming. They're left grappling with the truth that their words carry no power unless you choose to grant it. I remember a moment when someone's words cut sharper than they likely intended, their dismissiveness lingering like a shadow. For a brief second, I felt the familiar pull of defensiveness, the sting of humiliation. My heart raced, my mind raced even faster, searching for the perfect response to reclaim my ground. But then I stopped. I steadied myself, inhaled deeply, and allowed my gaze to meet theirs. Not with anger, not with tears, but with an unflinching calm that spoke volumes. The atmosphere in the room shifted. What was once filled with tension and veiled mockery became a silent acknowledgement of an invisible boundary. Their smirk faltered, their confidence waned, and in the echo of my silence, they were left alone with the weight of their actions. I didn't have to raise my voice or craft a clever comeback. My dignity spoke louder than any words ever could. The silent stare isn't about letting pain roll off your back or pretending something didn't hurt. It's about choosing where to invest your energy. It's about reclaiming control, not just of the situation but of yourself. It's a way of standing firm in your worth, showing rather than telling that you will not be swayed or diminished by someone else's negativity. It's a reminder to yourself and others that peace is your birthright, and no one has the power to take it unless you allow them to. As we grow older, we begin to understand the priceless value of our time, energy, and serenity. We realize that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every insult deserves a response. Sometimes, the greatest show of strength is in the stillness, the unspoken boundary that says, "You may speak, but your words hold no sway here." If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. So, when someone challenges your boundaries, belittles your value, or tests your patience, resist the urge to fight their fire with more flames. Instead, take a deep breath, plant your feet firmly in the present, and let your silence speak for you. Hold their gaze, let the quiet fill the space between you, and allow them to feel the gravity of their actions. You'll be amazed at how deeply empowering it feels to wield the quiet strength of a silent stare, and how it can shift not just the moment, but your entire perspective. 2. Embrace silence as your answer. Silence, often misunderstood, often underestimated. Some perceive it as a retreat, a sign of weakness, or even surrender. But nothing could be further from the truth. Silence, when chosen intentionally, is a weapon of unparalleled strength. It is a declaration of self-respect, a boundary that says, "You may speak, but you will not have my energy." Silence is not the absence of a response. It is the loudest statement you can make in moments of conflict or disrespect. When someone disrespects you, their aim is often to provoke, to pull you into a whirlwind of frustration, anger, or hurt. They feed on your reaction, hoping to validate their behavior by eliciting one from you. But when you stand firm in silence, you deny them the satisfaction they crave. You take away their power. Their words hang in the air, unacknowledged, and their intent dissolves like a flame starved of oxygen. Silence forces them to confront their actions and their own words. It shifts the discomfort back to where it belongs, on them. There is a profound elegance in allowing silence to do the talking. It is a shield that protects your peace while disarming the aggressor. In silence, you say, "Your words are unworthy of my attention." You communicate that their attempt to disturb you has failed, that your inner world is too sacred to be shaken by external noise. And in those quiet moments, you remind yourself of your strength, that you are not obligated to defend, explain, or retaliate. I recall an experience that forever changed how I view silence. I was waiting in line at a busy pharmacy when someone behind me, a much younger person, began muttering impatient remarks under their breath, just loud enough to make sure I heard. In the past, my instinct might have been to turn and confront them, to match their disrespect with sharp words of my own. But that day, something inside me shifted. I chose not to react. I stood tall, my posture steady, my gaze forward. I let the silence expand between us like an invisible wall. It didn't take long for their muttering to falter, their discomfort to grow palpable. They shuffled awkwardly, and eventually, their words faded into nothingness. The power of that moment didn't come from winning an argument, but from refusing to let their negativity touch me. When you embrace silence, you reclaim your energy in a world desperate to steal it. You decide which battles deserve your effort and which do not. Silence does not mean you are weak or incapable of standing up for yourself. It is the ultimate act of strength. It takes courage to resist the pull of confrontation, to hold your ground with poise and grace. In silence, you assert your worth without diminishing yourself. To choose silence is to protect your dignity, your peace, and your time, 3 of the most valuable treasures you possess. It is an act of self-love, a way of honoring the life you've built within yourself. Not every word deserves a reply. Not every battle is yours to fight. By wielding silence, you become untouchable, a fortress of calm amidst a storm of chaos. And in that fortress, you will find not only strength but also an unshakable sense of freedom. 3. Stop explaining your choices. One of the most draining, soul-eroding habits we can fall into is the endless compulsion to explain ourselves. We tether our worth to the approval of others, offering justifications for every action as if we must earn permission to exist as we are. It's exhausting and often heartbreaking. Yet, with time and wisdom, a liberating truth emerges. You owe no one an explanation for how you choose to live your life. Think about it. Every time you make a decision, Whether it's declining an invitation to dinner or embracing a life-altering change, the questions come. Why? They ask, sometimes with feigned curiosity or outright skepticism. People prod and poke, their inquiries often cloaked in judgment or the subtle suggestion that your choices are somehow flawed. And still, we try to explain. We want others to understand, to see the world through our eyes, and to acknowledge the validity of our decisions. But here's the hard reality. Their understanding isn't necessary. Your choices don't need validation from anyone but you. Letting go of the need to explain is not just a shift in behavior. It's a revolutionary act of self-respect. It's standing tall in your decisions with quiet, unshakable confidence, knowing they are valid simply because they are yours. Imagine the power in that. To live without constantly bending to the weight of others' expectations. To unapologetically embrace what feels right for you. Whether people agree, understand, or even support your choices is irrelevant. What matters is that you honor your truth. I learned this lesson the hard way. For years, I hosted large family gatherings, feeling like it was my unspoken duty to keep everyone connected. But the toll it took on my body and spirit grew heavier with each passing holiday. I began to dread the very thing I once cherished. Finally, I made the difficult choice to step back. When I announced that I wouldn't be hosting anymore, the floodgates opened. The questions came relentlessly. Why would you stop? Don't you care about family? What about our traditions? At first, I explained. I laid out my reasons, hoping they'd understand that I needed to prioritize my health and mental well-being. But no matter how eloquent or heartfelt my explanations were, it never seemed to be enough. Then one day, when someone asked yet again, something shifted. I looked them in the eye and said, because this is what I need now. No elaborate reasoning. No justification. Just the truth. And you know what? The conversation ended. Just like that. For the first time, I felt a profound sense of peace, a lightness I hadn't known was possible. It wasn't just the relief of not having to defend myself. It was the empowerment of realizing I didn't need to. When you stop explaining yourself, you reclaim your power. You affirm that your decisions, no matter how big or small, are enough because they come from you. The next time someone challenges your choices, resist the urge to justify them. Practice saying, because this is what feels right for me, or simply, because I chose to. Let the silence settle. You'll be amazed at how disarming confidence can be, and how freeing it feels to stand unwavering in your truth. At this stage in life, you've earned the right to live boldly and authentically, free from the chains of other people's opinions. Stop explaining. Start honoring yourself. You deserve to live on your terms, unapologetically and with the dignity you've worked so hard to claim. 4. Keep your distance. Sometimes, the most profound and empowering way to address those who fail to respect you isn't with heated words or grand gestures, but with quiet, deliberate space. Creating distance is not about being cold, cruel, or shutting people out. It's about fiercely safeguarding your peace, protecting your emotional energy, and reclaiming your well-being. Not everyone is deserving of a front-row seat in your life, and recognizing this truth is not selfish. It's a declaration of self-worth and self-respect. As we age, the value of our time and energy skyrockets. Decades of navigating relationships have taught us hard but necessary lessons. Not all connections are meant to last. Some people, regardless of how long they've been in our lives, become emotional anchors, pulling us into seas of negativity, stress, and exhaustion. Perhaps it's the so-called friend who never misses an opportunity to diminish your joy, the family member who persistently disregards your boundaries, or the neighbor whose overbearing nature feels suffocating. Whatever their role, there's no moral obligation to endure disrespect or toxicity under the guise of keeping the peace. Distance doesn't have to erupt dramatically. It doesn't demand door slamming, burning bridges, or bitter confrontations. Sometimes, the most graceful and impactful thing you can do is step back. Silently, intentionally, and unapologetically. You don't owe anyone a detailed explanation for why your availability has diminished or why you no longer prioritize them. Choosing to prioritize your happiness, your mental clarity, and your emotional stability is your birthright. And remember, if someone genuinely values you, they won't repeatedly put you in situations where their actions force you to question your worth. I recall vividly a relationship that taught me the transformative power of distance. There was someone I held dear, a close friend, who had an uncanny ability to make me feel small. They masked their cutting remarks as jokes or concern, constantly critiquing my choices, belittling my passions, or finding fault in my appearance. For years, I brushed it off, convincing myself they meant no harm. But with every interaction, I felt my self-esteem chipped away, piece by piece. One day, I reached my breaking point. There was no confrontation, no explosive fallout. I simply started choosing myself. I responded less, declined their invitations more often, and let the relationship naturally fade. And with each step back, I felt lighter. The fog lifted, and clarity set in. Their behavior was never a reflection of my inadequacy but of their insecurities. Distance didn't just heal me. It gave me the strength to demand better. For myself, for others, and for my future. Choosing to keep your distance is one of the greatest acts of self-respect. It's an affirmation that your inner peace, your happiness, and your emotional health are non-negotiable. It's a powerful reminder that your life is far too precious to squander on people who belittle, exhaust, or disregard you. So, if someone in your life consistently disrespects or diminishes you, take a moment to reflect. What am I truly gaining by staying close to this person? If the answer leaves you feeling empty, it's time to take a courageous step back. Distance is not a loss. It's a gift you give yourself. It creates space for joy, for relationships that uplift and inspire, and for the moments that truly matter. It's a bold step toward a life where your energy is spent on people who see your value, treat you with kindness, and respect the boundaries you set. So, honor yourself. Create the space you need to thrive, and remember, protecting your peace is not just a choice, it's a necessity. 5. Hold your head high. There is a quiet, almost ethereal power in walking through life with your head held high. It's not just about posture or the outward appearance of confidence. It's about embodying your self-worth so deeply that it shines through every step you take, every glance you offer, and every word you speak, or choose not to speak. Holding your head high is more than just a stance. It's a statement, a living testament to your inner resilience and unyielding belief in your value. It tells the world, without apology or hesitation, that I know who I am, and no one, not your words, actions, or judgments, has the power to take that from me. Disrespect is an all too common currency in a world where some people thrive on the insecurity of others. Those who seek to undermine your sense of self often do so not because you lack worth, but because they fear the strength and brilliance you exude. Their harsh words and dismissive actions are nothing more than smoke and mirrors, attempts to chip away at your confidence and cast shadows on your light. Yet, when you stand tall, both literally and figuratively, you rise above their darkness, shining brighter than ever. It's a choice, a powerful act of defiance. You will not define me. I will not shrink for you. But let's be honest, this is no easy task. The temptation to shrink, to absorb the negativity, can be overwhelming. I remember vividly a moment from years ago, one that could have broken my spirit had I let it. In what seemed like an ordinary conversation, someone casually commented on my age. Their words were laced with condescension, a thinly veiled attempt to suggest my time had passed, my relevance fading. In my younger years, I might have scrambled to prove them wrong, to argue my worth, or to win their approval. But something in me had changed. Instead of reacting, I straightened my back, lifted my chin, and met their gaze with a calm, unwavering smile. I said nothing, not because I didn't care, but because I cared too much about myself to waste energy on their pettiness. And in that moment, I reclaimed my power. This act, holding your head high, requires no words, no elaborate gestures. It's a quiet strength that speaks volumes. When you embody your self-worth, when you radiate confidence without arrogance, people notice. Even those who seek to bring you down are caught off guard, disarmed by your refusal to falter. They expect you to crumble under the weight of their negativity, to respond with anger or hurt. But when you stand tall, unyielding, it's as if you've flipped the script entirely. Suddenly, they are left to grapple with their insecurities, their reflections staring back at them. And this confidence, it's magnetic. It's the kind of presence that turns heads not because you demand attention, but because you command respect. When you walk into a room with your head held high, you carry an energy that is impossible to ignore. People feel it. They are drawn to the quiet assurance that says, I am enough. I belong here. I am proud of who I am. This isn't arrogance or a need to prove anything. It's the serene knowledge that your worth is intrinsic, not determined by anyone else's opinion. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment below to let me know that you are still here with me. Holding your head high doesn't mean you're unaffected by the world's cruelty. It doesn't mean you don't feel the sting of disrespect or the pang of insecurity. What it does mean is that you refuse to let those feelings define you. It's about acknowledging the pain but choosing not to let it root itself in your soul. It's about saying to yourself, yes, that hurt, but I am still standing. I am still whole. I've come to realize that this quiet strength doesn't just shield you from others' negativity. It transforms the way you see yourself. It's a practice, a daily commitment to honor your value. Every time you lift your chin in the face of adversity, every time you meet disrespect with dignity, you reinforce the unshakable truth of your worth. Over time, this becomes second nature, a habit of self-respect so ingrained that it shapes every interaction, every relationship, and every moment of your life. And here's the beautiful thing. The respect you show yourself has a ripple effect. Others begin to mirror it, treating you with the same reverence you exude. It's as if by holding your head high, you permit them to see you as you truly are, strong, capable, and deserving of dignity. This doesn't mean everyone will change their behavior, but the ones who matter will rise to meet you at your level. And those who don't, their opinions cease to matter, falling away like leaves in the wind. So the next time someone tries to make you feel small, whether through cutting remarks, dismissive actions, or subtle slights, resist the urge to shrink. Don't lower your gaze or meet their negativity with your own. Instead, pause. Breathe deeply. Feel the ground beneath your feet and the strength within your chest. Straighten your back, lift your chin, and remind yourself, I am more than their words. I am more than their judgments. I am enough. This act of defiance, of holding your head high, is not just for them, it's for you. It's a reminder that your worth is not up for debate. It's a reclaiming of your power, a choice to stand tall in a world that often asks us to shrink. As you walk through life with this quiet strength, you'll find that it not only shields you from the storms of disrespect but also illuminates your path with a light that can never be dimmed. In the end, holding your head high isn't just about surviving the moments of disrespect, it's about thriving in their wake. It's about living fully, unapologetically, and with the unshakable belief that you are, and always will be, more than enough. 6. Teach people how to treat you. Respect isn't always something that's freely offered or automatically granted. Often, it must be carefully cultivated and gently taught. Teaching others how to treat you is not about arrogance, entitlement, or demanding attention. Instead, it's about embodying a profound sense of self-worth and setting boundaries that communicate your value. This process, though challenging at times, is one of the most essential and empowering acts of self-respect you can undertake. How you carry yourself, what you tolerate, and the standards you uphold become the unspoken lessons you teach the world about how you expect to be treated. Every interaction you have sends a message. When you accept disrespect or disregard, whether it's a passive comment, an overlooked boundary, or a blatant offense, you unintentionally permit others to continue. Conversely, when you set boundaries and demand respect, through your words, actions, and energy, you establish a precedent that shows others you are not someone to be taken lightly. This process, while deeply rewarding, requires courage, patience, and an unwavering commitment to yourself. It's natural to make excuses for the behavior of others, especially those we care about. When someone dismisses your feelings or disrespects your time, you may feel tempted to rationalize their actions. Perhaps they didn't mean it. Maybe they were stressed, distracted, or dealing with their problems. Extending understanding is an admirable trait, but it becomes a problem when it causes you to repeatedly excuse behavior that undermines your dignity. Compassion for others must always be balanced with compassion for yourself. Recognizing when someone's actions cross a line is a vital skill. I'll never forget an experience that taught me this lesson firsthand. I had a neighbor who would frequently drop by unannounced. Initially, I didn't think much of it. I told myself it was harmless, just a sign of friendliness. But as their visits became more frequent, they started to disrupt my plans, my work, and my sense of peace. Each knock on the door left me feeling increasingly irritated and powerless, as though my time and priorities didn't matter. I avoided addressing it, worried about seeming rude or unkind. But over time, I realized something important. My silence was teaching them that their behavior was acceptable. One day, when they showed up at my door yet again, I decided to speak up. I gently but firmly explained, "I truly enjoy our conversations, but I'd appreciate it if you could call or text ahead of time to make sure it's a good moment for me." It was a simple request, spoken from a place of honesty and respect, but it completely changed the dynamic of our interactions. They immediately respected my boundaries, and for the first time in a long while, I felt empowered and in control of my time. That small act of setting a boundary became a profound lesson. People can only honor the limits you establish if you are willing to communicate them. Teaching people how to treat you is not always easy. It can feel uncomfortable, especially if you've spent much of your life prioritizing the needs of others or avoiding conflict. But it's an essential part of building healthy relationships and honoring yourself. Setting boundaries isn't about rejecting people or pushing them away. It's about creating a framework where mutual respect can thrive. It's about showing others, through your actions, what you will and will not accept. At its core, this practice is about self-respect. When you choose to value yourself enough to speak up, you reclaim your power and establish a new standard for your interactions. It's important to remember that boundaries are not one-time declarations. They are an ongoing process. You may need to remind people of your limits, especially those who are used to overstepping them. You may face resistance, guilt, or even anger from others who aren't accustomed to the new boundaries you set. But with patience, consistency, and firmness, people will learn. The rewards of teaching others how to treat you are immense. As you set and enforce your boundaries, you'll notice a shift in how people engage with you. Respectful, meaningful interactions will replace those that drain your energy or leave you feeling undervalued. You'll attract relationships that align with your worth and shed those that don't. Over time, you'll find yourself surrounded by people who see and honor the value you've always had. The truth is simple yet profound. You teach people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. When you respect your time, energy, and boundaries, you send a powerful message to the world about your worth. Conversely, when you tolerate disrespect or fail to advocate for yourself, you inadvertently lower the bar for how others interact with you. The process of teaching others how to treat you begins with self-reflection. Ask yourself, what am I allowing that doesn't serve me? Where am I compromising my values or ignoring my needs to please others? Once you identify these areas, you can begin to take small but meaningful steps toward change. Start by setting clear, specific boundaries. Communicate them openly and honestly. And most importantly, enforce them consistently. Remember, setting boundaries isn't about being difficult or controlling. It's about creating a life that honors your peace, your time, and your emotional well-being. It's about saying to the world, I matter. My needs matter. and I will not settle for less than the respect I deserve. By teaching people how to treat you, you reclaim the power that is rightfully yours. You step into a place of quiet strength, where your worth is non-negotiable and your boundaries are a reflection of the profound respect you have for yourself. And in doing so, you inspire others to rise to the standard you've set, creating a ripple effect of respect and understanding in all your relationships. 7. Remember, respect starts with you. At the heart of every meaningful interaction, every boundary courageously set, and every quiet moment of self-reflection, lies an essential truth that we often overlook. Respect begins within you. It's not something that others bestow upon you, nor is it a fleeting quality dictated by external circumstances. True respect is a sacred flame, one that burns brightest when kindled from within, fueled by your unwavering commitment to honor your worth. But how often do we wait for others to ignite that flame? How often do we falter, seeking validation in the wrong places or blaming the world for failing to treat us with the dignity we deserve? The truth, both liberating and challenging, is that the power to transform how others see us starts, and often ends, with the way we see ourselves. Self-respect is more than a demand for better treatment from others. It is a profound and ongoing promise to treat yourself with the care, compassion, and regard you wish to receive. It's in the seemingly small, everyday choices. Choosing to rest when you're tired instead of pushing through, saying no to obligations that don't align with your values, or prioritizing your emotional well-being even when others may not understand. It's in the way you speak to yourself during moments of doubt and the boundaries you set to protect your peace. And, perhaps most importantly, it's about acknowledging that your worth is inherent and immutable. Not something you earn through accomplishments or sacrifices, but something that exists simply because you do. For much of my life, I struggled with this concept. I was caught in the endless cycle of people-pleasing, believing that my value was tied to how much I could give, how well I could support others, and how rarely I caused inconvenience. I said yes to invitations I didn't want to attend, agreed to favors that left me exhausted, and ignored my own needs in the name of being helpful or kind. At the time, I didn't realize the quiet harm I was doing to myself. Every time I prioritized someone else's comfort over my well-being, I was eroding my self-respect piece by piece. I was teaching myself, and others, that my feelings didn't matter, that my needs could wait, and that my worth was negotiable. It wasn't until I hit a breaking point, a moment of complete emotional and physical exhaustion, that I began to understand the profound importance of self-respect. I remember sitting alone, overwhelmed by the weight of obligations I hadn't wanted but felt unable to refuse. It was in that quiet, painful moment that a small, determined voice within me spoke. "You matter too." It wasn't loud, but it was clear. And it was the wake-up call I desperately needed. From that day forward, I began the challenging but transformative journey of reclaiming my self-respect. At first, it felt unfamiliar and even selfish. Saying no felt like letting people down. Prioritizing my needs felt indulgent. But the more I practiced, the more I realized that respecting myself wasn't just an act of self-love. It was a powerful declaration to the world about how I deserved to be treated. With each boundary I set, with each decision that aligned with my values, I felt stronger, lighter, and more in control of my life. And something remarkable happened. The people around me began to respond differently. Those who truly cared adapted, respecting the boundaries I had once been afraid to enforce. Those who didn't, they quietly faded away, no longer able to thrive in the presence of my unshakable self-worth. Respecting yourself isn't a one-time decision. It's a lifelong practice. It's not about perfection or always having the answers. It's in our moments of imperfection, when we stumble, falter, or face challenges, that self-respect becomes most crucial. It's about offering yourself grace when you fall short, celebrating your progress no matter how small, and understanding that your worth is not tied to your productivity or your ability to meet others' expectations. Self-respect means standing firm in the knowledge that you are enough, exactly as you are, flaws and all. Building self-respect can feel revolutionary in a world that often asks us to put ourselves last. Society glorifies selflessness to the point where prioritizing your own needs can feel like an act of rebellion. But the truth is, respecting yourself doesn't take away from others. It sets the stage for healthier, more authentic relationships. When you respect yourself, you teach others how to treat you. You create an environment where genuine connection can thrive, free from resentment, imbalance, or unmet expectations. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. Are you treating yourself with the respect you deserve? Are your daily choices honoring your needs and values, or are they driven by a desire to please, avoid conflict, or meet societal expectations? If the answer is no, know that it's never too late to change. Start small. Choose one thing, just one, that honors your worth today. Maybe it's setting a boundary, carving out time for rest, or speaking kindly to yourself in the mirror. Each small step you take is a brick in the foundation of your self-respect, a foundation so strong that no storm can shake it. And as you practice, you'll begin to notice profound changes. Decisions that once felt difficult will become clearer. Relationships that once drained you will either evolve or fall away. The chaos and negativity that once consumed you will lose their grip. Because when you respect yourself, you create a life that aligns with your values, nourishes your soul, and reflects the love and care you've always deserved. Remember this: respect isn't something you wait for. It's something you cultivate, nurture, and fiercely protect. It begins with you, and it radiates outward, transforming not only your own life but the lives of everyone you touch. So, take the first step today. Listen to that quiet, powerful voice within you, the one that knows your worth, and let it guide you toward a life filled with dignity, self-love, and unshakable respect. Because, at the end of the day, the most enduring respect you'll ever receive is the kind you give yourself. Walking through life with dignity and strength. Life's journey is a tapestry woven with trials, triumphs, and countless lessons, and as we traverse its later chapters, the meaning of respect deepens profoundly. It is no longer just a matter of how others perceive or treat us. It becomes an intimate reflection of the relationship we nurture with ourselves. Every boundary we set, every moment we prioritize our peace, every time we choose to walk away from what diminishes us, these are not just actions. They are bold declarations of self-worth, resounding affirmations of our inner strength. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Facing disrespect, especially as the years add grace and wisdom to our lives, can feel like a relentless storm against the shore. The world, in its relentless rush, often overlooks the beauty of experience, the quiet power of resilience, and the invaluable treasure of wisdom that only time can bestow. It's easy to feel unseen, unheard, or undervalued, but let this truth anchor you. Your worth is not determined by the fleeting opinions of others. It is an unshakable foundation, like the steadfast glow of the moon that lights the darkest night, rooted in the life you've lived, the hardships you've overcome, and the strength you've carried through it all. The strategies we've embraced to combat disrespect are not mere tools. They are lifelines to self-honor. Choosing silence in the face of negativity is not weakness. It is the roar of wisdom that refuses to engage with the unworthy. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It is the sacred act of safeguarding your heart and soul. Standing tall, even when the weight of the world tries to bend you, is a testament to the unyielding dignity that age and experience have forged within you. Every act of reclaiming your power becomes a radiant step toward honoring the beautiful person you've always been. The most transformative revelation is this: respect is an inside job. When you see yourself through the lens of love, compassion, and unwavering worth, you create an energy so powerful that it transforms your entire existence. Relationships shift, drawing people who cherish and uplift you. Opportunities align with your heart's desires, and the chaos of disrespect fades, replaced by the serenity of self-assurance. Your confidence becomes a symphony, echoing with the reminder that you are enough, more than enough. As you continue this journey, hold this truth close to your heart. You are the guardian of your own life, its time, its energy, and its peace. These are treasures, irreplaceable and priceless, and it is not just your right but your responsibility to protect them fiercely. Stand firm in your truth, unshaken by the winds of criticism. Speak with a calm yet resolute voice when your boundaries are tested. Know that your worth is not earned by achievements or measured by others' opinions. It is intrinsic, a birthright etched into your very being. At this stage of life, you have earned the privilege to live authentically, unapologetically, and with an unbreakable sense of dignity. You deserve a life that mirrors the respect you give to yourself, a life of peace, joy, and unshakable fulfillment. And as you honor your worth, you'll notice how the world begins to follow suit, reflecting the unwavering dignity and strength that you so boldly embody. You are a force of nature, a beacon of grace, and your life is a testament to the power of self-respect. As we close, take a moment to reflect on everything we've shared. What have you learned about walking through life with dignity, reclaiming your power, and nurturing self-respect? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Share one thing you've learned from this video and how you plan to bring it into practice in your life in the comments below. Your insights might inspire others on their journey too. If you found this video valuable, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more empowering content. Together, let's continue to grow, learn, and live with purpose and strength. Thank you for watching.